Let me introduce you to Christina McAmis. She is going to talk to you about my family's response, the emotional impact. Christina is a 2023 honoree diagnosed with stage 4 triple negative positive metastatic breast cancer at 32. She has been NED, no evidence of disease, for 7 years. Christina is a franchise and legacy attorney and a Shelton Law Associates Partner. She speaks nationally as a legal educator and regularly writes for industry magazines. Christina interned with Honorable Consuelo Callahan of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. What a resume. Before law school, she shouldered responsibility as a single mother with twins while earning her bachelor's degree. As a law student, she was recognized for her research and editing skills in the Understanding Torts 9th edition legal textbook. At age 17, she started her own business. Before she could drive, she traveled as an elite level gymnast, competing with Dominque, Dawes, and Zmeskal. She was a national champion power tumbler and an international equestrian vaulter. Christina continues her passion for horses as a director on the nonprofit board Gypsy Magic Equine Outreach, which assists the elderly, children, and others through equine experiences. Christina, please come to the stage. You are an amazing woman. It's okay, you're an attorney.
Thanks. Forgive me that one. Okay. Thank you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christina McAmis, and I am here today because of metastatic breast cancer. I'm not here because I have metastatic breast cancer, which I do. I am here because of metastatic breast cancer. The speaker that was originally going to be here where I am standing now, Mrs. Janie Branscombe, is not here because of metastatic breast cancer. She planned to be here. In fact, I have copious notes that she wrote for her presentation here today, stories that she planned to share with you today. But Janie is not here today because less than 3 months ago, she died from MBC. The world lost a voice, and MBC lost a light in the darkness that is this disease. So I say it again. I am here today because of metastatic breast cancer. The speaker you should have had was stolen from you, as 1 in every 4 speakers with metastatic breast cancer have been in the 4 years that Stage for Change has taken place. And while I appreciate the honor and the opportunity to speak here today, my heart is broken for Janie's family. I have only gotten the chance to know her through her family and her notes. She prepared so meticulously to be here today, you see. She had so much to share with you today, but she died. Janie loved her 4 children with all of her heart. She loved God. She was grateful for everything that she had. She enjoyed baseball, softball, fishing, both fresh and saltwater, anything nautical and lighthouses, country music and concerts, animals, especially her 2 boxers. She loved the sun, but had a deep appreciation for the air conditioner, something I share. And she loved the crazy adventures that her husband took her on. She was so active and lively and alive. Janie was a verb, a word of action and change, a dynamic, powerful word. And now she is historical, static, a statistic. I could wax poetic here and say all things happen for a reason, or maybe that she was a flame extinguished too soon. But pardon my French, guys, that's horseshit. Janie should be here today. Or better yet, Janie should be at home worrying that the potatoes aren't going to be done when her husband pulls the steaks from the barbecue. She should be distraught and upset that her daughter just told her right now that there's a science project due tomorrow. Janie should be alive. Instead, you have me. I will do what I can to fill in for Janie and represent MBC in her honor, and I hope that my presentation today is good enough and powerful enough to warrant an invitation back to speak next year. I would love to come and present and take action for the victims of MBC. Yeah, the victims, not survivors. There are no survivors of MBC. I'm standing here today healthy enough to present my story to you. But statistically speaking, there is a 1 in 4 chance that I won't be here next year. You'll have a new face in front of you, here reading my stories and the notes that I meticulously made for this presentation to take action, which they will present as I must present Janie to you. No longer a verb, but a past tense noun. We are all here today in present tense, sharing this brief moment in our lives as fall takes hold and the holiday seasons come, which always puts in my mind those great holiday classics like It's a Wonderful Life, where George Bailey gets the opportunity to see what one life and how it impacts an entire community. Or Scrooge, where Ebenezer Scrooge, the old crotchety man, learns the spirit of Christmas through visits by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. So in honor of the upcoming holidays, and in classic Charles Dickinson fashion, is your visit from the ghosts of Christmas past. I present to you Janie. Janie had plans for this presentation. She had stories selected that were a gut punch to read, and you were robbed of seeing her deliver them alongside photos of her family. One story sticks out to me in particular. Janie was at a Tim McGraw concert with her family and friends shortly after being diagnosed with a mass, not cancer, a mass. And she retails the story. She says to her friends and her family at that Tim McGraw concert, well, at least if it's breast cancer, it won't kill me. And right there in her outline for this speech was an emoji of a face palm. Wow. Just wow. Janie's sense of humor to be able to tell this story while writing the outline for this speech from a chemo chair. Still had the courage and the spunk to put that little emoji right there in the outline. I saw that and the air left my lungs. Whoosh. Janie was not a cardboard cutout or some compilation of accolades. She was happy, and she was sad, and she was scared, and she was strong, just like all of you in the audience today. Janie wanted to stand here today and to be able to thank the pharmaceutical companies for keeping her alive past her expiration date, the time frame in which most MBC patients are given. I wholeheartedly agree, and I do add my thank you. But it's not enough. It was not enough for Janie, it's not enough for me, and it's not enough for the women actively dying of MBC as we sit here comfortably today. I never got the opportunity to meet Janie, but in speaking with those she left, her husband, learning all of her stories from her notes, and watching our children get to know each other this year at Leslie's Week, and in knowing this disease, I feel like we could have been close. But she is in the past, and I am still here for now. Which leads us on to your next ghostly visitor, the ghost of Christmas presents, myself. I was diagnosed with triple positive inflammatory breast cancer de novo in October of 2014, ironically during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I was too young to have annual breast cancer screenings or any screenings for breast cancer. I was young, healthy, breastfeeding mother. I had never smoked or used drugs. I had never been overweight. I was always active. I do not carry any of the genetic markers. I had no indicators or risk factors for developing breast cancer. I had no options for early detection. In fact, I became symptomatic. My mammogram still came back clean, completely clean, despite having stage 4 breast cancer that had metastasized to my bones. Early detection is a safety blanket that we all use. We believe that this can't happen to us, that we are safe. We are not. When I was diagnosed, I was faced with a decision. I had just started my law school education at McGeorge School of Law. I had committed to 3 more years of rigorous education, and the doctors were telling me I had 2 years or less to live. They recommended that I go home and stay home and spend what time I had with my children and my family. And that was medical advice I could not take. You see, I had been a single mother struggling with my twin boys who are in the audience today. We lived in a rented trailer. I had turned the laundry room into their bedroom. And as we struggled one night, I told them that things were going to change. They were going to get better because I was going to school, and I promised them that it would get better. And so I chose to continue my education. I had to try to keep that promise. I've also promised them that I will fight, and that's a promise I intend to keep. And things eventually, I graduated and things got a little better. I'm an attorney now, in fact, a partner at my firm, where I regularly take time off, away from the office, away from clients, my partner and colleagues. I ask them to pick up my slack and to finish my projects so that I can have treatment. Speaking of, just some of the treatments I have undergone include Taxotere, Herceptin, Perjeta, Zometa, Arimidex, tamoxifen, and letrozole. Side effects? I've had plenty. Tamoxifen gave me ovarian tumors the size of mangoes, leading to a complete hysterectomy 5 days before my first law school final. Taxotere, along with Herceptin and Perjeta as a cocktail, was effective enough to get the insurance company to approve my mastectomy. 6 weeks after my hysterectomy and 4 weeks before my wedding. It was a really fun summer, guys. All of these treatments, though, They have miraculously bought me 9 years. 9 years of moments, memories, and prayers, hopes, and yes, dreams of more. However, those 9 years have come at a cost. I'm allergic to all of my drugs. So every 3 weeks before infusion, I have massive doses of steroids, Pepsid, Benadryl, pumped through my port, and Ativan, which helps with the anxiety that the past traumas of being in the chemo chair cause. All of these drugs allow my body to accept the poison that so far is keeping me alive. There have been consequences, including anaphylaxis and arthritis, so bad that I lived from a mobility scooter for a time. Luckily, we've heard a little luck tonight. I had a pain doctor that understood cancer treatment and cancer pain, and he installed an intrathecal pain pump, which now pumps morphine 24/7 into my spine so that I can walk. I will receive treatment for the rest of my life until one of two things happens. One, either they stop working, cancer returns, and I die, or my body becomes too weak to tolerate the treatments, and I wait for cancer to take over, and I die. Death is the only end to treatments. But I came here today not with a sob story or an inspiring story, but to talk about the emotional impact cancer has had on my life. Let's talk about the word impact for just one moment. Impact alone conjures visions of stars colliding, of car crashes and big bangs. And that image isn't far off after you've been diagnosed as metastatic. It's an impact, a moment of change, and a change of life. And I personally want to thank one of our presenters, Lauren Huffmaster, for giving us the vocabulary to frame part of this conversation. Others here today will speak on fear and isolation and pain that is cancer, the irrational hope that we have for survival. But as the ghost of Christmas present, I will address the emotional impact of loss of identity and change of view of self. Beyond losing all the body parts that I used to define me as a woman, my breasts, my uterus, my ovaries, my cervix, I lost my own identity. At the age of 32, I went through the impact of surgical menopause without the benefit of any hormonal therapy because my cancer feeds off hormones. I cannot do the things I used to do. I cannot sit and read a book for long without pain. I cannot play with my children the way I did, nor can I talk to them of the future the way that I did before cancer. I lost my sexuality and my ability to be intimate, and a consequence, my husband has lost his too. For the past 9 years, I have not been able to close my eyes and sit alone with my thoughts without tears streaming down my eyes. For me, there is no peace. Despite all of this, I do not look sick, or at least not sick enough. When I use my handicap placard, I get hard stares, even comments from the people around me that don't understand this disease. I have been confronted using the women's restroom because I no longer look like a woman, not even a sick one. In moments like these and in other unprovoked instances, I fall apart. It's not weakness. Being strong is a myth, a comfort that allows us to believe that cancer survivors have somehow made it all work, and we're keeping up hope. We are not. We're not strong. We are resilient. But we are crying. We are broken. And way more often than we let people know, we are a mess. And I can't help it. My kids see my messy. I am regularly heard telling my children, give me just a moment to let this out, and then I will group my poop and we will go on with the day. This is my PCA way of saying, give me a second, I'll get my shit together, and we can go on with our plans. But on the inside, I feel broken, and I will never be unbroken again. People say that I'm a fighter, but I don't feel like there's any fight in me. I'm tired. I am so tired that I joke, I'm retired. I was tired today, tired again tomorrow. I am raw, I am hurting, and I'm scared. I don't want to fight, but when your only choice is fight or die, you will fight as long as you can. And even beyond that, because when your desire to survive is gone, you fight because people need you. You hurt to avoid hurting others, those you love, your family. There's no quit in any of us. When I was diagnosed, my twins were 7, and my daughter was 13 months old, just barely walking. The twins remember me losing my hair, losing more than 60 pounds, losing my breasts. They were the ones that helped me strip my drains after my mastectomy. One day, my son Alex, he asked me, "Mom, can I borrow your Fight Like a Girl shirt?" I said, "Sure, why not?" And then he says, "Mom, can I borrow your jeans?" At this point, I was a little confused, and I asked to what end. He said, "Tomorrow's dress like a hero today at school." Took me a while to get my poop back in a group after that one. My daughter did an entire school project on someone famous. She truly thinks I am. Please don't tell her. She's up there. But most days I don't feel like a hero, and I don't feel famous. I feel tired. Some days I'm too tired to take my children to school, and I wrestle with the guilt of all the ways that my diagnosis has impacted their lives, and I wonder if I'm doing enough to mitigate it. But there is no mitigation for watching a parent die. My daughter, Maddie, doesn't truly remember me when I was really sick. It's even harder for her to understand when I cannot do things. She doesn't know what it looked like when I was so sick. So how does she know that I'm stable now? How do you describe that to a child? We try, my husband and I, to focus on the positives with them. I tell them I'm living now, so we're going to focus on that. And if I'm actively dying later, I will tell you, and we will shift focus. I will tell them. I will have to. How can I? My daughter has never known me without cancer. She likely never will know me without cancer. We do what we can to help them cope, and there's some really wonderful resources out there. Camp Kesem offers a week-long annual camp for children who have been touched by cancer. Leslie's Week offers a week away from cancer specifically for stage 4 families. And I can tell you that I have seen the mental improvement, the change of an emotional state in all of my children after this year's retreat. And it's one of the reasons that I volunteered to take up the torch to speak with you today. We've created relationships with therapists preemptively to try to make it normal. So when I pass, if they need to talk to someone, they can. We struggle to keep life in balance. Not everything can be about me being sick. We try not to allow the word cancer to become part of our daily lives. We do share the important information to reduce anxiety. We've told them about the plans that we have in place for them if I pass, who would take care of them, and what would happen to the house. There's enough unknowns. I can give them what I do know. And you haven't heard much about my husband, my rock, the man that married me in spite of my terminal diagnosis, who swaddles me in blankets and lays me on his chest while I fall apart and slowly helps me put myself back together. But I still try to give him the same break from cancer as the kids. Cancer can't be used every day as an excuse, and it's taken me almost 9 years to be able to make this happen, and I fail frequently. I told you I'm not strong, and I meant it. And so despite my immense gratitude for these stolen years that I have been granted by the advancements in treatments, I challenge the pharmaceutical industry in my name and in Janie's name and in every MBC patient's name. Use your genius brains to find treatments and drugs that help us live. Save us. Save people like Janie. Save our children and our children's children. Our kids need us to live, and it's painful now to live or to die either way. I've given you a challenge here today, and I hope I've given you enough. I would love to come back next year with a decade's worth of dreams and hopes and plans to share, but the numbers are against me. I may just be a small impact, a blip on the radar of each of your lives. And I hope that it's just a moment of uncomfortable brush with reality and mortality. And I hope that's all it is for each of you. But sadly, for many of you, I will be like Ebenezer Scrooge's partner, Jacob Marley. The words I have shared here today will return to haunt you, especially around the important moments of your life, like the holidays. I have been told there are approximately 100,000 of you listening via live stream and in the audience here today. If we assume 50% of the audience is female, that's over 50,000 women listening as I speak, and I am honored, and I am terrified for you. 13% of women will be diagnosed with breast cancer within their lifetime. That means 6,500 of you will actively listening to my words now will hear those same words I heard 9 years ago. You have breast cancer. Of those 6,500, 5% will hear the even more devastating words that followed for me. You are metastatic, no cure, terminal. You're no longer a verb, just a time clock ticking down until your life is simply historical. 325 of you will die from MBC de novo with no cure, no early detection, no treatment options that provide any hope for planning a future. Of the 6,175 of you who are lucky enough to have treatment options because you are curable due to early detection, 30% of you will still end up with stage 4 breast cancer and die within 5 years of metastasis. That's another 2,038 of you, if we round up 3/4 of a person to a whole. That is 2,363 women who are listening to my voice right now who will have no chance at survival. My heart breaks for you. And all of the families and friends that you're parting will impact. Early detection is essential, but it's not a cure. It was not enough for Janie. It is not enough for me, and it will not be enough for 2,363 of you listening to me here today. You are the ghosts of Christmas's future. Christmases with families yet to be missed and grieved. Christmases planned and anticipated that will never be merry. I am grateful for every moment that modern medicine has bought me, but it's not enough. I'm greedy for life, greedy with a longing to hear the cries of my grandchildren. I don't just want a few more moments of life, I want the whole of it. And so will 2,363 of you. Even Ebenezer Scrooge, despite the harm and evil that he wrought upon his fellow men, was provided a chance at redemption when faced with the specter of his future. He was allowed a glimmer of hope that change could turn his path away from the grim knowledge of a nearby waiting grave. I am still working on coming to terms with the foreknowledge that my grave is not far away. And that might make you uncomfortable momentarily as you think of your own mortality. The ghost of Jacob Marley asked Ebenezer in A Christmas Carol, "How is it that I appear before you in a shape that you can see I may not tell? I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day." We are here and we are dying. It's easy to focus on early detection and hope, and uncomfortable to acknowledge those of us who are most impacted by breast cancer. Charles Dickens described this sensation. It was not an agreeable idea. Scrooge shivered and wiped perspiration from his brow. "That is no light part of my penance," pursued the ghost. "I am here tonight to warn you. You yet have a chance and hope of escaping my fate. You have been visited here tonight, today, by the ghost of Christmases past in the way of Janie. I am here representing the ghost of Christmas present, and 2,363 of you are here representing the ghost of Christmas future. I, like Jacob Marley, warn you that you yet have a chance and a hope of escaping my fate. Early detection is not enough. Awareness is not enough. Women know that they should have screenings. We're experiencing our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters being diagnosed. We are all very, very aware. Breast cancer is not an unfamiliar disease. We are aware, and we are doing everything that we can do to be the lucky ones blessed with early detection, even though that fails more than 30% of those who are so lucky. We do not need more funding for education or awareness. We are educated, we are aware, and we are dying. We need a cure. Find a cure. Time is so very precious, and I appreciate yours here today. And I do so much hope to see all of you again next year. Thank you.